Welcome. This is the Drupal usability meeting for December 16th, 2022. I'm Benji Fisher moderating, and sharing his screen is Ralph Kohler. No one else is present, so I think we're just going to have a short meeting today. But Ralph, go ahead.
Yep. I just wanted to show Benji a preliminary draft of the categories and scope notes for the categories on Drupal.org's module page, as well as for project browsers categories. Those are the results after the BOF at DrupalCon Prague and the work at the Contrib Day and the follow-up questionnaire that was built, doing a closed card sort. And based on those results, there were many discussions for several weeks now, and that is basically the result. And it's at the moment only a few slight changes. It would lead into bike shedding if you would go further with wordsmithing on that end, and it probably one or two of those categories might be split up in different categories. But yeah, I just wanted to show Benji the current state roughly, and the idea to have at a certain later point the input of the others of the usability group for their input.
Okay, so as long as we're looking at this list, let's just take a few minutes and go through the first few of the most commonly used modules on Drupal.org. So I'm looking at the list of modules, and top of the list is Chaos Tools Suite, or C Tools. And that would go under what? Automation? Integrations? No.
One advice, it is helpful to take a quick look at the scope notes that define the scope of each of the terms. It might be not apparent directly for each of them at the moment.
Yeah, so it's really a backend API module, and I don't see any category that fits really well. Site structure, looking at the description, doesn't really match.
No.
Performance, yeah, definitely not integrations.
No.
So that's not at all clear to me. Second is the token module. That I think would fit under site structure.
Yep, that would be one option.
And the proposal is that under the new system, a module will have a limited number of categories that it can be part of, or is it just one?
For the closed card sorts, we limited to one, but currently it's about 5, I guess, in Project Browser, but I guess the goal will be 2 or 3, okay. I suppose. But ideally, from my understanding, I prefer it to be explicit, and ideally I would go for one category for each module. So that would be the ideal case, but in a few examples, impossible.
Yeah, well, sort of a more extensive version of the exercise we're doing now is going to help inform that. Where else could content display? Yeah, maybe token fits best under content display. Define how content and data is arranged and shown to the users on the site.
But one other idea would be also content authoring.
Okay.
Because you place the token in, for example, a field or in the WYSIWYG.
Okay. Path auto, that probably goes under SEO.
Yeah, I would agree.
Although I don't really like that description of the SEO is sort of solely focused on making it better for search engines, but you know, good URLs are important for SEO, but they're also important for usability. There's no user engagement, site structure. Yeah, site structure includes navigation, so maybe that's so.
But in regards of site structure, that you could counter, your path auto provides only aliases, and the structure is already defined by, for example, node number 1, node number 2, and so forth. That is the structure, the underlying.
Okay, but it says how to define the structure of the site. So that's what you're saying by way of content models, field types, and navigation.
True. Yeah, everything is debatable.
and that's sort of an argument for allowing more than one, because I think it belongs under SEO, and I think it also belongs under site structure.
Yeah.
Web form, would that go under site structure? Content models, field types? Content authoring?
Or one second, I'm making notes aside. Content authoring. The thing we came up during our discussions, another option would be for web form user engagement.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's user-generated content and comments, where the user is able to engage and interact with the site and the people running it.
Then there's libraries API, and that's sort of in the same bucket as CTools. So same question. I don't see where it fits really.
One word about chaos tools and libraries API. That is one of the taxonomy terms no one of us is really content with yet, but it would fit because it's difficult. At the moment, it's called as administrator tools. Before, it was called developer tools or site creation tools. And it's basically, developer tools like chaos tools for development, debugging, general maintenance, or running the site. But developer tool or developer experience, in air quotes, was the thing that catch the attention easier and would make easier, for example, to assign chaos tools to it. But then it has the caveat Leslie brought up, site builders would be felt left out. So that was our problem, why we moved away again from developer experience or developer tools towards to administrator tools, but it's still not perfect. And in yesterday's discussion at Austin, people felt it's a too broad of it's a catch-all phrase, and maybe it would make sense to split it up, to have one for development and one other maybe, or more. But me and others would have put chaos tools, libraries API into administrator tools based on the scope node.
Okay. It's out of alphabetical order. I had trouble finding it.
Oh,
it's
indeed.
Third from the bottom on your list.
Problem was that's the problem. It was called site creation tools before, and we just changed it, and I forgot to move it up back in alphabetical order.
Yeah, I figured it was something like that.
Yeah.
Meta tag, that'll go under SEO. Views for Drupal 7 would be site structure. CAPTCHA would be their security.
Or views could also be debated for content display.
Okay.
What was the other you said? Sorry, I've interrupted you at the end. After views?
After views comes CAPTCHA. Or before views was meta tag.
Okay, capture. Where would you put capture?
Where would I put CAPTCHA? Security?
Yep, agree.
It's sort of anti-user engagement, right? How to make it harder for users to engage with your site.
Make your site more annoying and help Google train their bots.
Okay, I think that's enough for now.
Yeah.
Well, we should have another version of this discussion with more people on the call after another couple of rounds of this draft. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad to see that this is actually coming along.
But on your first impression, how does the selection of terms look like?
I like the number. I think I counted 18. That's certainly a big improvement, and really sort of, the exercise of going through the top 100 and figuring out where they go. The card sorting exercise is really the way to decide.
Yeah. And one question, do you have an idea from top of your head in regards of administrator tools after I've outlined the scope roughly and the brief history behind how the terms developed? Would you have an idea of an alternative, or should we just keep it from now as administrator tools and see what maintainers say? Maybe splitting it up or something else.
I don't have any great ideas off the top of my head. Just without looking at the description, just looking at the phrase administrator tools, I don't think that C tools or libraries API fits under that.
Yeah.
Admin toolbar does. So would we want something that would include both C tools and also admin toolbar to be in the same category? And then we're just trying to come up with a label for that category.
That's a good question, especially if you bring up admin toolbar. That's a real good question. Basically, that the example C tool and admin toolbar already shows how broad the scope of the topic is and how diverse. So I'll write that down.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you do the card sorting algorithm and it has the right number of modules in it when you've sorted the first 100 modules, then it's okay that it sort of has things that aren't really closely related to each other. I mean, really, helping people with their decision tree is the goal, and ideally for that, you want to have the same number of things under each category, and that's really one of the key requirements of this.
Yeah, but probably that won't be possible at all, because, for example, privacy probably doesn't have that many modules, but it's an important topic people probably will show in regards of GDPR or right to forget. And topics or terms not available show also where the focus doesn't lie on a project. And if you don't have something like privacy, which we haven't had in the beginning, that tells also something. So I'm not sure if it will, in the end, The case that you have equally distributed modules for each category.
Well, maybe privacy and security could be combined. I think of those as related issues.
Yeah, we will see. I think the best choice is to go with that. It isn't that bad at the moment. As a selection of categories and descriptions, and see what the sorting of the maintainers will bring. Because if we let maintainers sort their own modules, they know best how they would describe them, and that we also get not the top 100 modules, but also a fair share of smaller ones and a diverse scope of functions or problems they are solving. So that way we will see how good those terms already work, or it will be a hybrid sort. So maintainers will be able to either sort into the 18 categories that are on the draft, but also have the possibility to say module X doesn't work in any of those, and it would make sense to, I'm missing, for example, category Y, and I would sort it there. And yeah, that is the idea, to get an idea how stable it already is. And especially with maintainers who are all happen to be experienced Drupal users, that way more use cases and more needs are covered.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yep.
we will definitely return to this. Thanks for showing me this draft. And shall we call the meeting there?
Yep, I think so, because we also don't have any real topics and issues pressing at the moment anyone brought up. So
okay, and the next 2 weeks, it's possible we'll again not really have enough people for meeting because of the holidays and end of the year, but we'll see. I'll be here.
me
And
too.
if enough people show up to have a good discussion, I'll continue running the meetings.
Great. Cool.
Okay.
Okay, then thank you. And have a nice weekend already.
You too.
Bye-bye.